When one hears the word Viking, it almost instantly conjures images of brawny warriors wielding fierce swords, riding in waves of long ships to pillage and plunder unsuspecting villages. It's an accurate image, though not a complete one. The Vikings, more than almost any other people that actually lived in history, have taken on a mythological reputation. This is likely because we simply know so little about the Norsemen, literally men of the North. Most of the writings from their time period were written by Christians, who were one of the main targets of Norseman raids. As the monks and other historians weren't keen on fondly remembering the Vikings, they didn't give them much space in their records. Consequently, few detailed accounts exist of this northern Germanic people. What we do know is for the centuries roughly spanning 700 to 1100 AD, the Norse emigrated all over Europe, literally and figuratively spreading their seed throughout Ireland, England, France, Germany, and even Greenland and Canada's eastern shores. If you have Northern European ancestors, there's a good chance you have some Viking in you. As to our knowledge of Viking culture, we are largely limited to reports of their martial endeavors, conveyed in vague descriptions like the Northmen at this time fell on Frisia with their usual surprise attack, and the Northmen vowed to Clermont where they slew Stephen, son of Hugh, and a few of his men, and then returned unpunished to their ships. As author Anders Winroth notes in The Age of the Vikings, our only surviving descriptions are the Vikings show up, ravage, and kill many if not all. This dearth of historical information has turned the Norsemen into a pure symbol of the warrior archetype and raised their standing to that of near gods. They didn't see themselves in that regard, however. The Vikings had their own pantheon of revered deities, as well as accompanying stories of the role these gods and goddesses played in creating the world, spurring mortals' heroic deeds, wreaking destruction, and catalyzing renewal. While figures like Thor, Loki, and Odin are making an appearance in pop culture, and will only continue to do so based on Marvel's tendency to make sequel after sequel, the old myths behind those figures are even more interesting than the films they star in. On the big screen, all we see are Thor's heroic deeds of strength, likening him to a Norse version of Hercules. And of other Norse figures, we had almost no information at all. To the Viking people, these gods provided the very breath of life. They served as models for manhood to Norse warriors. No matter the religion you practice, or none at all. All men can learn from the Norsemen's myths, just as we can learn from those of Rome and Greece. Over the course of a few monthly articles, we'll explore the Viking worldview and gods, which were different and more complex than their classical counterparts. In some ways, this makes the Norse gods more relatable to us mortals than the likes of Zeus or Hercules, even though he was partially mortal himself. Welcome to